This is Breakfast with Branson Gibson on ABC Midwest and Wheatbelt.
G'day. How's it going? Branson Gibson here hanging out with you. Happy Thursday. It's the 12th day of September. Hope you're having a very nice morning. Looks like we've got a sunny Thursday ahead. Sunny conditions expected right across the central Wheatbelt, the Murchison and the central west. Temperatures in those mid to high 20s, even nudging past 30 in a couple of places. In a little bit, I'll chat to the Bureau of Meteorology as well, figure out exactly what kind of weather we're in store for, not only today, but of course over the weekend, not too far away from the weekend. So I think we can have one eye on that. Coming up in the next half hour, we're going to talk about cybersecurity as well. Now, yesterday, you might have seen a story that Meta admitted it scraped the public profiles and photos of every adult Australian's Facebook profile. So what exactly does that mean? And what are the risks or the concerns? Should you be worried? I'll ask those questions in just a little bit. Coming up after 7:30, we're also going to talk about roads, in particularly one idea that might be help improve road safety. It's not targeted towards bikes, it's not targeted towards cars or trucks. It is targeted towards bikes and e-scooters. It's all about high visibility. We'll talk about that after 7:30. And yesterday there was a truck rollover in the Midwest, and it happened on a stretch of road that's known to be problematic for drivers. We'll talk about that after 7:30 as well. This morning, if you'd like to get in touch, if you'd like to send me a text message, 0448922604 is the number to do that on. If you'd like to give me a call, 1300 501 222. That number again, 1300 501 222. Coming up next, though, we're going to talk about cybersecurity.
Start your day the right way. With Branson Gibson on ABC Midwest and Wheatbelt.
12 minutes past 7, and yesterday there was a big admission from a social media company, Meta, the company that owns Facebook, admitted it scraped the public profiles and photos of every adult Australian's Facebook profile. Every adult Australian's Facebook profile. So why did this happen? So Meta can train its artificial intelligence. So what happens now, and do you need to be concerned? Dr. Oliver Guidetti is a cybersecurity researcher at Edith Cowan University. Good morning, Oliver.
Good morning, mate. It's nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
No worries at all. So, just going back a step here, what exactly is scraping?
Well, scraping is a way for computers to gather a large amount of information from websites automatically. Instead of, say, someone coming along manually copying and pasting that information across, program can do that much faster and on a much bigger scale. That can include text, they can include images or links, anything that's publicly visible on that website.
Right, and so why are companies doing this? What's that information then used for?
Right, well, what they're using all of that information for is to train their AI, but what that means under the surface of that sentence, on the one hand, it's to improve their services, so what they can actually offer customers. But on the other hand, it also means they can do things like target ads make targeted ads more successful, so that they can ultimately generate more profit. But the long and short of it is the more data that these AI systems have, the better that they can perform, and that's why these companies are quite data hungry. They've actually been pulling this data since about 2007 as well, so it's a large amount of information.
Right, and as you said, since 2007, so it's something that's been going on for well over a decade. Is this legal?
Is this legal? Yes. Is it moral? That's a completely different question, though. So the Senate inquiry is looking at changes to the Australian legislation to probably bring them more in line with what's happening in Europe at the moment. In Europe, for example, users are sort of prompted, hey, do you want this to happen? Do you want your data to be used to train this AI? But we didn't get that here in Australia. So it's part of the thrust of that Senate inquiry is to also sort of look at our data privacy laws and really just shore them up in this new sort of modern world to make sure that they're keeping pace with what's out there.
14 minutes past 7, ABC Midwest and Wheatbelt. I'm chatting to Dr. Oliver Guidetti, who's a cybersecurity researcher at Edith Cowan University. We're chatting about cybersecurity, in particular how Meta has admitted it scraped the Facebook profiles of every adult Australian, the public photos and public posts. Oliver, so are there any risks from companies doing this? Should we be concerned?
Well, look, there are definitely privacy issues. Even though that information is public, most people, I imagine, might not realise that those posts are public. Should they be concerned? Definitely, if you're a parent, you should be concerned about what a company is learning about your kids online. There's also certain concerns around the sensitivity of that information. Just because it's on a person's public-facing social media page, if you go back to 2007, people can change. People can become very different people over that time. So there's also an element of that that's about public shame and also, I suppose, treating people's privacy with a bit more nuance and care. People have personal moments that they've shared online. It's their lives, their kids, families. It's not just a folder for a tech company, as it were.
Right. Now, Oliver, you touch on something there, like if you're a parent, you should be concerned. Now, Meta and Facebook did say that it was only adult profiles that they scraped, but then questioned about what that meant for if someone had posted, say, a photo of their kid who was under 18, that information was scraped. So why is this such a concern for young people in particular, do you think?
Well, it's entirely innocent for young parents to post a photo of their little ones online. That's completely innocent up until you get things, systems like these artificial intelligences that come along and learn based on that information, based on your kids' information. Because then you're sort of overstepping your boundary, A, the child's privacy, but also B, the parent's right to privacy. Yes, it is true to say that these are public forums, but there are also certain civilities that are sort of being stepped over with the training of these AI systems. For users who are concerned, there are things that you can do on the back end of your settings. So going to your profile, setting things to private, but also it's not going to be one setting at the moment. You also have to do things like go into your search engine settings and your data sharing settings and turning those things as well to private. They don't make it easy for you, put it that way.
Yeah, right. Okay. 17 minutes past 7. I'm chatting cybersecurity with Dr. Oliver Guidetti, who's a cybersecurity researcher at ECU. We're talking about Facebook and how they've been scraping profiles. Oliver, you mentioned changing your settings to private. That's something that people can do, but that won't change what's already been scraped, will it? Or will it just protect us in the future?
It'll protect you most likely going into the future, but once the data's gone into the AI, it's in there. Very famously, it's called a black box problem. You can't quite crack it open and take it out again.
Right, okay. And how widespread is this scraping? Obviously, this is something that Meta has admitted that they have done. And you mentioned, changing those settings. How many accounts do we need to do this for?
Everyone's account, and it's not just your Metas of the world. It's also platforms like X and Twitter. Those are quite famously as well. All of the social media companies are doing this.
Right. Okay. Well, Oliver, thank you so much for your time this morning. Thanks for chatting cybersecurity.
Thank you very much for having me. You have a lovely day.
You too. Dr. Oliver Guidetti there talking about cybersecurity, in particularly in relation to Facebook and Meta, admitting that they had scraped the the public profiles of every adult Australian users, taking a look at public photos and posts. So we heard a little bit of what Oliver had to say. The best way to stop that from happening is to go onto your Facebook account and change your settings to private. Unfortunately, though, that doesn't stop what has already been scraped. So if it's already happened, that information's already in there, but it could help stop it from occurring in the future. 19 minutes past 7. You can let me know what you think about this as well. 0448 922 604. Is this something that you're concerned about? Does it matter to you that, a Facebook company or, a social media company in Facebook has scraped your profile and potentially taken some of your posts and photos? Are you concerned? It is a public forum after all. What do you think? Is this something that's maybe a little bit how you going, or is it play on? Let me know if you've got some thoughts you'd like to share. The text number 0448 922 604. If you want to give me a call, 1300 501 222.